Hey, what's up guys, it's Axel, and today we're checking out Kefine's first hybrid IEM. This is the Kefine Quatio, a 2DD 2BA IEM with 3-way crossover and tuning nozzles. Has one 10mm dynamic driver and another 8mm dynamic driver, and it's priced around $129. And I will say right now, this is a good IEM. Just how good is it and how does it compare? We will find out. But first, quick giveaway announcement for the channel subscribers. I want to say a huge thank you to Kefine for making this happen. If you are subscribed to the channel, all you have to do to enter the giveaway is just leave a comment below this video. That's it. We'll pick a random winner in 10 days, announce it only in the YouTube community tab, nowhere else, so please ignore any weird messages you get. If you win, we'll confirm it with the official channel email, media@gizaudio.com. Good luck, and let's talk about what you get in the box. First things first, you do get this sturdy pocketable zipper case. It looks really nice. You know, you can easily fit it in your pocket. Enough room inside, and you do get 2 extra pairs of nozzles. Other than that, you do get 12 pairs of silicone ear tips. Yep, 12 pairs. That's generous. The white ones are a bit softer to the touch, and these are your regular gray narrow bore silicone ear tips. Now, the cable is a 4-wire braided modular cable with swappable 3.5 and 4.4 terminations. I like that. It uses a screw mechanism. Feels secure and compact. The cable itself has a rubbery texture, but it doesn't tangle, it doesn't have microphonics, it's not memory prone, and even the chin slider works. Actually, it's a bit tight, but it stays in place, and that's very nice to see. I love this cable, and yeah, it's great. The Quatio also has great build quality. This is how the faceplate looks like. It's a very minimalist design. You just get the logo on the front, just gets the job done. I wouldn't say this is the most attractive faceplate I have seen, but it works. You know, another thing here is that the whole build is made out of CNC machined aluminum. It doesn't have any sharp edges, and what I like about it is that it's not a fingerprint magnet and it doesn't easily get scratched. You know, it also has a vent hole right here, which you can see. The nozzle diameter 6.3mm at the widest point and 5.4 below the nozzle lip. One thing I like also is that there is a nozzle lip to hold onto your ear tips, which is really nice. Comfort for me overall, I would say it's excellent. It fits me really well. It's not huge, as you can see. I would say this is average, in my opinion. What I like is that the rounded design makes it very comfortable. Like, it doesn't have any pressure spots, like it doesn't push against my ear in any way, you know, and it gives me a good seal. And honestly, I can forget I'm wearing it after a while. All right, let's talk about the most important aspect, which is the sound, and let's look at the frequency response graph. And you can see some similarities between this type of sound signature and the Kefine Klean and the Delcy. You definitely get a similar balanced sound signature with a good amount of bass that glides down to a forward upper mid-range without a bass stuck, for those of you who like that. And there's also a very smooth treble without a lot of upper treble, and let's break it down. Let's get into the bass, which is easily one of my favorite parts about the Quatio. It strikes a really nice balance between the sub bass and the mid bass, so you get that deep rumbling low end along with the punchy satisfying slam. On tracks like Humble by Kendrick Lamar or like Killing Strangers by Marilyn Manson, the bass hits hard. It feels physical and has excellent texture and definition without any bloat. There is good bass note separation, and the sub bass has a proper rumble that I feel like sub bass lovers will actually like. It's a deep bass, it's punchy bass, and really well done. If you're into high quality bass with impact and depth, I feel the Quatio delivers. This is high quality bass, and for me, this is one of the standout parts about the Quatio. Now onto the mid-range, which is, in my opinion, this is hands down my favorite part about the Quatio. There is something special and magical about the mid-range of the Quatio here. Vocals sound very natural and lifelike. Instruments have this organic timbre, and overall it feels like, I will describe it as real and engaging. That's the way I could describe it. It's real, lifelike, and engaging. On, you know, one track that I really loved on the Quatio was The Curse by Agnes Obel. Just her voice sounds sweet, angelic, and I don't like to use those vague words, but I don't know how to describe it. It's just beautiful, you know, the way the strings sound on that track, the cello, the piano, the way the instruments are rendered gives this whole track this atmospheric quality. It's a beautiful listen, and I will drop a link in the comments if you guys want to try it, because you told me you asked me to do that, so I will post a link. Another thing here, for example, is another track like Horizon by Daft Punk. The separated bass notes, the drums sound clean and immersive. Female vocals sound amazing, like Amber Rubarth, you know, like, or for example, Adele, Rolling in the Deep. There is good extension, there is good tone. Male vocals as well sound natural as well, like for example, Johnny Cash, he has a track called Hurt. It has that depth. Or Hey Laura by Gregory Porter has that deep, resonant, you know, voice that he is known for. and there is no bloat at all. So overall, I feel the mid-range here is beautifully done, and like I said, this is my favorite part about the Quatio. If I talk about the treble, for me guys, it's a bit of a mixed bag. On the plus side, I'll say it's smooth, it's natural, it's free of sibilance, there are no harsh peaks, there are no ear-piercing moments, and the detail retrieval is actually great. But before I describe it, I just want to say, full disclaimer, I am sensitive to lower treble, so please keep that in mind. I will say for me, the Quatio can sound a bit energetic, and sometimes that 4 to 8K region can sound a bit too forward. Examples that show that, for example, the track Paranoid Android by Radiohead, around the 2-minute 45 seconds, those, you know, guitars have a certain intensity to them. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, the cymbals are a bit, you know, loud in the mix, a bit too forward. It's not harsh, you know, like I can listen to it, but there is some extra energy there that, you know, for those of you who are extra treble sensitive, you know, this is something to be aware of. As the treble sensitive listener, I enjoyed the Quatio with a lot of music genres, but I will say that I wouldn't crank up the volume too high with the Quatio, and I wouldn't use the Quatio to listen to metal music, for example. The black filter helped tame it down a bit, but it also came with trade-offs, and I'll talk about that in a second. If we move on to the upper treble, the up top, I will say the upper treble stays smooth and safe. It doesn't have a lot of air and sparkle, so this is not, you know, like I said, I will say, like, this is not the airiest set out there. If you like a lot of air and sparkle in the music, this is not it. And if you're treble sensitive, I would say give it a try first, or you can use the black nozzle, or the nozzle that has the black filter. Your mileage may vary with this thing, you know, this is just my personal opinion, and I feel that for a lot of people, they might actually enjoy how clear and upfront everything sounds. This is also something I noticed. About the tuning nozzles, they do make a difference, and I will say what they do quickly. The gold nozzle boosts the upper mids, slightly lowers the bass, sounds cleaner, but it's also too forward for me in the upper mid-range, especially around the 5 kHz region in the lower treble. I'm not a fan of that nozzle. The black nozzle adds a bit more bass and takes the edge off the treble, and I really noticed that, but it also slightly veils the mids, and the vocals kind of lose that forwardness and clarity that I enjoyed. Overall, I feel the silver nozzle is my pick. It's the one I would personally use. It has the best balance and sounds the best to me. In terms of technical performance, detail, layering, imaging, I will say all of these things are actually great on the Quatio, and I would say it sits on my technical scale, let's say 10 to 20% above the Truthear Nova, which is actually impressive at this price point. This is amazing. Soundstage, separation, layering, excellent. You know, like a track that shows that, for example, is Weird Fishes by Radiohead. The Quatio nails the stereo image, and you can pick out the layers, the guitars, the drums, and the vocals are in the center. You can even feel like some of the drum kicks are on the left side, and the separation, the spatial awareness. All of these things are really fantastic on the Quatio. Timbre is also a standout on the Quatio. And let's move on to the comparison segment, because we have a lot of comparisons. So this is the Kefine Klean. I love the Klean, and you can see some inspiration on the faceplate. Kefine Klean is a top tier IEM at its price, and it's a safer listen because it gives you a bit more bass, a bit extra upper treble air, and a bit less 7K energy, which overall works to balance the sound nicely. Compared to the Quatio, I'll say the Quatio has way better bass quality. The slam, you know, the texture, the mid-range timbre is a lot more natural on the Quatio, and just the jump in resolution alone between both of these two is big. They don't have the same exact sound, so I wouldn't say like this is a more detailed version of the exact same sound signature, but it's kind of close. Alright, so another 4-driver hybrid IEM is the Juzear Defiant, and this one has been getting a lot of love from the community, and for good reasons. So after testing them both side by side, I will say just my opinion, I feel the Defiant comes out on top when it comes to the sound quality. I can recommend the Quatio over the Defiant. I'll say if you like the metal build, if you like Kefine as a brand, if you like the tuning nozzles, or you want more lower treble. I feel just the Defiant has the tamer lower treble, and this is a very critical area, so I can turn up the volume on the Defiant without things getting edgy or fatiguing. I can listen to rock and metal on the Defiant with zero issues on any track. The Defiant also has more or better upper treble extension, so it has more air, more sparkle, and that gives it, you know, a better sense of imaging. For example, the track Humble by Kendrick Lamar, at the first 5 seconds, those guitars at the beginning that pan left and right, they're a bit more distinct on the Defiant. Micro detail as well, you can hear on the track Tundra by Amber Rubarth. You can hear those tiny micro details. I feel the Quatio is great, but, you know, I gotta say, man, I feel the Defiant just, in my opinion, just sounds better, costs less, and nails everything. If I had to recommend one to a friend, I would say the Defiant, but again, I feel the Quatio is an amazing IEM, and it's good to have options out there, you know. Another comparison, the Tanchjim Fission, which is a surprise. It's so close to the $260 Tanchjim Origin, also has a metal shell like the Quatio, also has a modular cable, so it's kind of nice, and to see how good IEMs are coming in right now at this price point. I wouldn't use the nozzles or the switches on the Fission, Fission, and frankly, I can say the same thing exactly about the Quatio. That's just my personal preference about both of these things. Sound-wise, I'll say the Fission is a bit safer. It's easier on the ears, especially in that lower treble region, so I can crank the volume higher here without issues. Vocals also sound natural and also have a beautiful timbre. There is a bit more air and sparkle here if you like that. If you want the more sub-bass, and this is something that really the Quatio does, and I noticed that it's really fun. It has that deeper bass, it has the punchier bass, and it also has some lower treble presence if this is something you are interested in. SLIIVO by Myer Audio SLA3. This one has a great modular cable as well, no nozzles. It has more sub-bass, it has a bit more tamer upper mids, and it has a bit more upper treble air. The Quatio, on the other hand, has that fullness. It has a stronger mid-bass, the better bass quality, if this is something you like, and a more natural and organic mid-range. I was just listening to those two and comparing them, and in my opinion, I prefer the Quatio over the SLA3. It just has the better mid-range timbre and tonality, and this is something that really does really well, and I preferred it for that. The Truthear Nova, a more reference tuning, also a hybrid. It has slightly more forward vocals, slightly more air or upper treble extension. I like the Quatio because it has stronger, more powerful bass, and if you're a bass lover like me, the Quatio's deeper full punch, makes it the clear choice. But I will say the Nova is something if you want a smooth Harman style sound, and it really comes to what you prefer. And lastly, the Moondrop Aria 2. It's a fantastic IM, man. I really love it, and I can crank it up higher than the Quatio because of that tamer lower treble compared to the Quatio's silver nozzles. Both of these have metal shells, both of these have modular cables, neither of these has, tons of upper air, but I feel the Quatio here has more sub-bass, deeper sub-bass extension, and the bass quality is more impressive on the Quatio. It just has that punchier, fuller bass, better texture. There is also a bit more resolution and separation on the Quatio. It's kind of close, like I feel if you like the Aria 2, this is considered like an upgrade, but not in every way. Like that lower treble is also something that I really like on the Aria. Alright, who I recommend the Quatio to? If you are a bass lover and you like high quality punchy bass, I do recommend the Quatio. The bass quality here is outstanding. Number two, if you love natural, lifelike mid-range vocals and organic instrument timbre, those two things are like magical and frankly are a standout on the Quatio. Number three, I recommend it for anyone looking for a great sounding all-rounder IM at this price point that has a metal build, has a modular cable, good accessories, and tuning nozzles. Who I don't recommend the Kefine Quatio to? People who are highly sensitive to lower treble energy. Those of you who are extra sensitive to lower treble, I would say check it out first, try it before you buy it. Number two, people who prefer a lot of air, a lot of sparkle in the upper treble, I don't recommend it. And I don't recommend it for anyone who's looking like, for the safest or most fatigue-free IM, at least with the silver nozzle, I would say the black nozzle kind of tames that that lower treble. Alright, let's move on to the final rating, and let's give the Kefine Quatio a final rating, and I will give the Kefine Quatio a rating of 4 stars out of 5, which means it is very good, it is competitive, and I absolutely recommend it. That's a wrap on my review of the Kefine Quatio. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, good luck to everyone in the giveaway, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.